Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to the second episode of Dairah's Podcast. Today we have a very special guest with us, Qudsia Zearlish. My name is Mahindra Qureshi and I'm your host. Qudsia, would you please like to introduce yourself to our viewers?
Yeah, sure. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you, Maheen, for having me here. Hope everybody is doing great as well. So yeah, guys, I'm Qudsia Zearlish and I graduated in software engineering back in 2018. And later I decided to pursue my career in UX design. And since 2019, I have been into designing different user interfaces and solving different user needs and problems. And for the past 1 year, I have been working in VentureDive. And so far, the journey has been so great and fantastic. And yeah, that's all about me. Hope you guys like the podcast. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Qudsia, for being here. I know that all of our viewers are really going to find this session helpful and insightful. And it's lovely having you here on our show. So the topic that we have for today is how to run effective design fatigue sessions. So Qudsia is actually a facilitator in our VentureDive's design team. She facilitates all of our design critique sessions. So she is the best person to get proper insights on how to plan, execute, and run effective design critique sessions. Let's first jump into the agenda that we have for today. Okay, guys, so let's jump into the agenda that we have for today. First of all, we're going to define what exactly is a design fatigue session for all beginners out there. Then we're going to get into the value and benefits of running design fatigue sessions. For every designer, for every person, we're going to really get into why you should do it. Then we will talk about the misconceptions and some concerns of people that they might have around why have design fatigue sessions at all. So we're going to troubleshoot it a bit. And after that, we're going to talk about planning and executing effective design critique sessions. So here we will touch upon the actual session itself, and then we will get into the specifics of how to give feedback and how to receive feedback. So when we actually get into the topic, you're going to understand in greater depth what exactly we have in store for you today. But just to give you guys an agenda, here is a culmination of everything that we will be talking about. So without further ado, let's actually get into the first topic. So Qudsia, if you were to define a design critique session, आप किस तरह से उसको define करेंगे कि एक design critique session होता क्या है?
अच्छा, तो बेसिकली डिज़ाइन क्रिटिक सेशन को हम यूँ दे सकते हैं, इसको अक्सर लोग डिज़ाइन फीडबैक भी कहते हैं, डिज़ाइन रिव्यू सेशंस भी कहते हैं. तो बेसिकली इट्स अ माइलस्टोन जो कि प्रोडक्ट लाइफ साइकिल में बिफोर द डेवलपमेंट फेज आता है, जहाँ पे हमें अपना डिज़ाइन हैंड ऑफ करना होता है either to developers or any other stakeholder. तो हम रन करते हैं क्रिटिक सेशंस विद द पार्टिसिपेंट्स, और पार्टिसिपेंट्स डिपेंड करते हैं कि either they are the business analyst or the developers. It depends on कि आपको किस चीज़ पे feedback चाहिए. तो designer अपना work present करता है in a critique session, or different participants evaluate the design and analyze the design कि either design is solving the problem being addressed or not, or in this way the designer's work gets improved more, or the designer can hand off the work.
Right, I think that was pretty straightforward, and let's actually get into the second part of our discussion. Let's now talk about the value that designers get out of having design critique sessions at all. So we're going to discuss the benefits as well. So Qudsia, why do you think it's helpful for designers to have design critique sessions at all?
Okay, so Maheen, the design critique sessions, as you know, they not only bring benefits for the designer, the design work is being improved, but it also helps in improving different skills and different skills of your team as a whole. So let's talk about a few of the benefits which design critique brings in. Number one would be during a critique session, the participants help the designer to identify different problem areas अक्सर designers miss onto the edge cases while designing a solution. So different participants help us to point out this. Secondly, it could be that जब एक critique session हो रहा होता है तो different people, the participants share their point of view, share their ideas, and if the participants are designers, your colleague designers, तो वो एक problem के लिए new innovative solutions लेकर आते हैं. So it helps in bringing these solutions as well during a critique session. Then thirdly, it can also help in improving the critical thinking of your team as a whole. क्योंकि during a critique session लोग analyze करते हैं आपके design work को, evaluate करते हैं different principles के according, so it boosts the critical thinking. Number 4 could be that it helps in improving the team collaboration or team communication. Okay, how should we give somebody a feedback? How should we confidently receive a feedback? And then it always promotes learning and professionalism, the session, the design critique session, when different people are sharing their thoughts. And then the most important one is that your design team feels valuable. जब भी कोई आपका फेलो डिज़ाइनर या कोई पार्टिसिपेंट आपको फीडबैक दे रहा होता है और देन यू इनकॉर्पोरेट दैट फीडबैक और आप फॉलो अप दे देते हो कि yes, your feedback has improved my work, so that particular person would feel valuable. So it is a way to feel incorporate importance or the valuability of different person in the team. And then the last one could be that it is a chance for different designers कि वो अपना work validate कर सकते हैं beforehand of like we don't get enough time sometimes to conduct the usability testing or different activities. So during a critique session जब हम critique ले रहे होते हैं upon our design work, so it helps us to validate our solution.
Yeah, this was great, Qudsia. I think that this really debunks a lot of misconceptions that some designers may have around design critique sessions. And some of these points are really important because I think that design critique sessions are actually something that are a lot more positive than what some people may to be. और जितना हम लोग क्रिटिक लेंगे, जितना ज़्यादा क्रिटिक हम लोग लेते रहेंगे अपनी टीम के साथ, उतने ही ज़्यादा अच्छे हमारे डिज़ाइन होते जाएंगे. अक्सर ऐसा होता है हम जितना देखते रहते हैं एक डिज़ाइन को उतना ही छोटी छोटी चीज़ें मिस कर लेते हैं हम लोग, बिकॉज एक चीज़ देख देख के भी इंसान बोर हो जाता है. तो always good to have a new person's perspective. So great. Let's now jump into the second topic. So the second topic that we will be talking about is psychological safety, जिसका मतलब ये है कि जो हमें परेशानी होती है थोड़ी दिखाने में अपने डिज़ाइंस टू अदर पीपल, थोड़ा सा हम लोग इंटिमिडेट हो रहे होते हैं या परेशान हो रहे होते हैं कि मतलब शायद उन्हें अच्छा ना लगे, पता नहीं वो लोग क्या कहेंगे. We should really try to get out of that zone. So that's primarily what we will be talking about in this session. So over to you, Qudsia.
So yeah, Mahin, you're totally right. The designers do feel that they should show up their design work to senior colleagues or not. So for this, we could ensure psychological safety into our team, or iske liye we can do these 4 steps. The first one could be that we help our designers realize that it's basically the improvement of their design work, not that they are a good designer or a bad designer. It's not a judgment of this thing. Secondly, we can try including check-in rounds at the start of critique sessions. There could be a way कि हम एक question या कोई topic raise करें जिस पे sub participants they come up and speak on the topic for 1 to 2 minutes. Or thirdly, we can induce the process of icebreaker questions where different people can tell about themselves, and there are different icebreaking activities on the internet. So icebreaker questions can help in making the environment more comfortable. Or fourthly, being a facilitator or the lead of your team, you can model flexibility yourself. आपको कुछ चाहिए कि आप volunteer करें to present your work for getting critique. आपको चाहिए कि आप अच्छे से critique feedback दें in a proper way कि जो designer है, the opposite person who is requiring the feedback, he feels comfortable, he realizes that it's a very important and it's helping my design process and my designs. So these are the 4 things which we could adopt to troubleshoot the psychological safety issues within our design team.
Yeah, Qudsia, I think that ये एक बहुत important part है और ज़्यादातर reason यही है why people don't actually do design critique sessions क्योंकि हमें थोड़ा सा डर लग रहा होता है first time कि हम designs अपने दिखाएं with the fear of judgment and अक्सर मेरे पास ऐसे भी लोग आते हैं जो बोलते हैं कि we're not confident enough कि हम लोग अपना design बोलें मतलब थोड़ा कॉन्फिडेंस और बिल्ड करना चाहिए शायद बट आई रियली थिंक दैट जितना ज़्यादा आप ये सेशंस करेंगे उतना ज़्यादा कॉन्फिडेंस बिल्ड होता है इट्स एक्चुअली it helps you get more confident so it actually doesn't work the other way around कि आप पहले से confidence लेकर आओ obviously that is great but I still think कि ये एक तरीका है जिससे हम लोग और ज़्यादा confident हो सकते हैं about our designs so great stuff Qudsia I think कि ये काफ़ी important part हमने अभी cover कर लिया है moving on let's talk about growth mindset so over to you Qudsia I'm just going to give the stage to you
Okay, so growth mindset issues could be taken ke aksar designers are at a senior level. Yeah, they are confident enough ke unka design work is very much well improved that they don't require a design critique. So for such cases, there could be 2-3 tips which we can adopt in our process that they also come up and show their design work to have a critique upon. So for this, number 1 could be कि आप अपना growth and learning का experience share करें. बेशक आप एक senior level पे हैं, लेकिन whenever you have a critique session, at the end of a critique session, you will always realize that there have been some empty spaces left or some areas left which have been identified in the critique session. So you need to share your experiences. Secondly, for such personalities, you need to take care of your speech. Like, अगर कोई problem है तो आप उसको as a challenge refer करें. अगर कोई mistake है तो आप उसको as a learning refer करें. So learning and challenges, these words encourage such personalities to come up at the front page. Thirdly, you should be always, as a facilitator, you should always be praising the work and not the person himself. This way, they will be more into bringing up their work so that their work is being praised and they stand at the first level. So these are a few of the troubleshoot tips which we can adopt.
Yes, absolutely right. Qudsia, I'm going to agree with you 100%. And also, I think this is really important for designers to realize that design critique सिर्फ beginners के लिए नहीं होती है या सिर्फ senior level designers के लिए नहीं होती है. No matter what your level is right now, you can always have design critique session. It will always be helpful to you. So again, this was really helpful. And now let's get on to the planning part of the design critique session. As a facilitator, आप जब एक design critique session plan कर रहे होते हैं, what are the steps that you need to take? So Qudsia, how about you speak about your own, give your own examples and walk us through your process of planning a design critique session.
So in VentureDive, हमने अपने critique sessions को यूँ plan किया हुआ है कि the designers and the participants, the whole design team does not feel intimidated or something like they feel back a bit in presenting their design. So how I am planning currently the critique sessions is that there's firstly we have a design critique calendar. In that calendar, each and every member's turn has been mentioned along with the date. So every week there is a designer who is to present his work to get the critique. Okay, so maintaining a critique calendar helps us each and every designer in our team has to come up with his work, and it's mandatory for him or her to present the work for the critique sessions. Secondly, we could choose different tools for carrying out the critique session, as the environment is a bit remote as well. So hum Figma pe carry out karte hain apne critique sessions. We have a template ready in Figma to carry the critique sessions. Thirdly, while planning phase is still ongoing, though this designer ki turn hoti hai to get the feedback. He is responsible to set up the context for his participants. So the template which we use has a background section in which the designer fills the context. He adds upon the problem statement, and then he goes on adding the user needs he's trying to solve in his designs. And then he adds a bit about the competitor analysis he has done so that the participants later on get an idea what the problem is and what the competitors are. And in this way, so after the designer sets up the context for his participants, the fourth step is the designer adds the screenshots of the design work he has done, and he has to clearly put the screenshots that the user flow is complete, the user journey is complete and understandable for the participants. And also he can include the annotations as well if needed. Or the fifth step is that the designer has to set a feedback criteria. So the designer can set a criteria according to like अगर उसे UI के according चाहिए feedback या उसे user flows पे चाहिए या उसे user journey पे चाहिए. So it's mandatory for the designer to set a feedback criteria. Once the designer sets all these things in the Figma, then as a facilitator, I invite the participants by sending them an invite email in which I highlight the problem statement, which is going to be addressed in the session, and then the goal of the problem statement, which we are trying to achieve. Or in this way, the participants can get to know what the design critique session is and what would be the agenda of the session. Or also the participants are decided based upon the feedback criteria set by the designer. So these are the few steps which we follow in planning the critique sessions before actually conducting the one.
Thank you so much for sharing this with us, Qudsia. प्लानिंग के बारे में तो हमने बात कर ली कि पहले हम लोगों को क्या चीज़ें करनी चाहिए before having the critique session. Now let's talk about the execution. When we actually have a design critique session, उसको हमें execute किस तरह से करना चाहिए. So again, over to you.
अच्छा, तो execute a critique sessions, as we have already invited the participants, there's a meet link for them. In VentureDive, हमारे critique sessions होते हैं every week on Tuesdays. So in a typical critique session, at the start of the session, the facilitator and the designer must join the meeting before time, like 1 or 2 minutes, so that the participants do not have to wait on to the presenter and the facilitator. Secondly, once each and everybody is into their session, into the meeting, then the presenter is responsible to present his designs within 20 to 25 minutes. Or it is the responsibility of presenter कि वो quickly जाए designs के through, but not quickly but efficiently, ताकि participants do get the idea what he's trying to solve. At the same time, they don't get bored कि इतना लंबा critique session है. So when the presenter has done presenting his work, then the next step is that we have a 5 minutes QA session in which different participants might ask questions related to the design work being presented if they have any QA. So all these things are cleared before actually starting giving the feedback. So after having the QA session, then there comes the feedback giving time. So now in 15 to 20 minutes, all the participants raise their comments. They can give the feedback upon the work, and they give the feedback according to the feedback criteria being set by the presenter. After the 20 minutes of giving the feedback, then the facilitator comes in and he reads out the feedback aloud, each and every comment. Or then there is 1 to 2 minutes available for the participant or the presenter to talk about a certain feedback if it's not clear enough, for the presenter, or if there is some question the participant might want to ask the presenter. So they do have 1 to 2 minutes. And lastly, when each and every comment has been gone through thoroughly, then we close the session and we thank the participants for their presence, and we appreciate the designer for taking out his time and getting the critique and doing a wonderful job.
Awesome stuff, Qudsia. I think that this is a really great way actually to have a design critique session. It has discipline, and I think कि इस format के साथ it would be really helpful for all of our viewers when they have their own design critique sessions. And so great. I think कि एक दफ़ा ये तो हमें समझ आ गया कि design critique session किस तरह से plan करते हैं और फिर execute किस तरह से करें उसको effectively. But for it to be completely effective, we also need to know कि बाद में क्या होता है design critique sessions के. So उसको synthesize basically किस तरह से करें. So could you touch upon that as well?
अच्छा, तो okay, so in our design critique sessions, there is a part where we synthesize whatever the feedback has been given by different participants at the end of critique sessions. So it is basically an activity between the facilitator and the designer, where both of them jot down the key decisions on sticky notes or whatever way has been decided. And then after jotting down the key decisions, then there could be some questions left unanswered during the critique session, which they both might put onto the sticky notes for later opinions, later gathering of opinions, or the feedback from participants. Like there was a case where we were conducting a critique session, and there was a participant who commented his feedback over screen, but later on, while reading out the comments, the participant could not be present there due to some reason. So that basic comment went into the questions left unanswered, and later on, the designer went to that particular person, and he had an exchange of opinions regarding that point. So we highlight the questions left unanswered, and lastly, the third step is that we follow up with the participants about the feedback they gave us and what output has been come after implementing their feedback. This helps the participants to feel valuable later on, that their feedback is being catered and their time and their presence is not weighed into critique sessions. So these are the few tips or the few activities which we are doing after the critique sessions.
Okay, Qudsia, thank you so much for talking about the planning and a proper execution of having a design critique session. Let's quickly touch upon giving and receiving feedback as well. जब आप as a participant एक presenter को feedback दे रहे होते हैं, तो क्या चीज़ दिमाग में आपको रखनी चाहिए? So if you could just talk about that.
So let's start with an example to how give a feedback. This is the example. Here's the dashboard design of a project. So here's a comment that the alignment seems incorrect. So as a designer, Maheen, what would you get the idea? Okay, मैं क्या बोलना चाह रही हूँ आपको? Okay, what alignment is incorrect? Do you get it?
नहीं, it's quite vague. समझ नहीं आ रहा कि किस बारे में बोल रहे हैं.
So maybe हमें feedback यूँ मुझे देना चाहिए था कि the whole of the dashboard is being left aligned, the design is left aligned, and maybe we can also follow the left alignment or the F layout to keep the consistency. This way आपको पता चल जाएगा कि what I am pointing out onto or why am I pointing out कि ये ऐसे क्यों है और क्या करना चाहिए. So the best way could be कि all the content is being left aligned, so maybe to keep the consistency you can also left align this card balance and the amount. So I hope this way you can better understand the feedback, right?
Yeah, definitely. I think that this gives context and it's very helpful to the designer as well.
Okay, so there are a few tips to give constructive feedback to your fellow designers. These could be that while giving a feedback, you can help the designer in implementing the visual principles and implementing the usability principles of the design. And then you can help your fellow by identifying different edge cases which they might have missed upon due to different reasons. And then there is another technique that while giving the feedback, you can help the designer in analyzing that the design fulfills the overall business tone as well as the user needs. And then there could be that while giving a feedback, you need to be sure that you are giving an actionable feedback. Don't give vague feedback to your designers, design fellows, because it will leave them with no direction. So it's important to give an actionable and descriptive feedback so that they get what they have to do. Then you should be framing your feedback in a speech that it's a conversing one, not demanding one or commanding one that you should be doing this, you should be doing that. And there could be another thing that while giving a feedback, it's important for you to be clear and gentle. All right, so you should be giving it clearly but gently. Don't give feedback in a bit strict tone. And lastly, it depends upon different personalities, but there is a technique of the love sandwich, which you can adopt while giving a constructive feedback. So let's go through this technique. It's basically, as you can see, it is a technique of 3 layers, in which there is the design appreciation of the work done by the presenter in the top layer and the last one, and in the middle one, it could be the design issue, which has to be stated clearly. So we can adopt the love sandwich theory, but it not works always, because often designers feel that it is just flattering or something. So you need to be careful when you have to do this. So these are the few tips which you can adopt to give a constructive feedback to your fellow designers.
Great stuff, Qudsia. I especially like the part of how you have called it the love sandwich. It's really interesting because इससे एक तो हमारे पास एक checklist है ये सामने कि we already know कि कौन-कौन सी चीज़ों पे हमें specifically feedback देना चाहिए, but also how to give that particular feedback so that you're not hurting someone's feelings, and someone who's already a little intimidated and it's
feared enough. Yeah.
So it's nice, and it's empathetic. So I think it's a very important part. But being someone who is receiving that feedback, I would also like you to talk to them directly. Okay, how should they accept all of the feedback that they're getting from their participants, their peers?
Achha. Okay. So receiving a feedback is sometimes critical as well. Some designers might get offended, or they take it personal that this feedback might be that I'm not a good designer. So it's very important कि आप feedback को लेते कैसे हो, उसको understand कैसे कर रहे हो, और उसको accept कैसे कर रहे हो, just to improve your design work. So the first one is that it's again the thing that you need to realize that your fellows and the participants are helping you to improve your work, which is beneficial for yourself. Or secondly, if you have any doubt or any question according for a certain feedback, you need to ask why. You can ask the participants to explain the reason for their feedback. In this way, you will understand the feedback more, and this will make you confident enough to carry out the critique sessions so that your work is being improved. Thirdly, there could be that you can provide the data and whatever baselines upon which you have decided on to design solutions, you can share them with your participants. In this way, while we are discussing a certain thing, we get a clear idea about that particular problem and the solution. So asking questions and giving baselines while discussing the feedback, it makes you confident enough to get critique upon your work.
Yes, thank you so much, Qudsia. I think that everything that we've discussed today is all very helpful and very insightful. And I know for sure that हमारे जितने भी viewers होंगे, this is going to help them a lot. And जब भी वो लोग design critique sessions करेंगे on their own, they are going to follow this, and hopefully it will work for them as well as it works for us. So now let's get to the exciting part of today's podcast. So guys, Qudsia has planned a really special giveaway for all of you. Qudsia, would you please like to show the giveaway that you have for our viewers?
Yeah, sure. So guys, we're really excited to share it with you. So we have a design critique template ready for you guys to duplicate to your Figma files. This is the template which we are currently using in VentureDive for carrying out critique sessions in our design team. And the template is basically comprises of three sections. The first one is where the participant highlights the background, and the second one is where the participant adds the shots of his design work, and the third one is the synthesis part, which we are running post the critique session. So this is template open for you guys to download and run in your critique sessions. After this, we have another exciting giveaway, which is the critique guideline. So we are also excited to share our design critique guideline to you guys. In this guideline, we have tried our best to include all the critique related information which you might need to implement critique sessions or to carry out critique sessions in your company. So this particular guideline would be focusing on what design critique is and why is it important to run a design critique, and a framework for you guys to implement into your design teams, an effective design critique process. And then there are a few tips to run a good design critique. These are related to different principles of how you can give a feedback, how you can receive a feedback. And then there are a few of the critique issues which we have addressed in this critique guideline. So I hope you guys enjoy reading this, and you would be happy to implement the design critique framework which we have created in this guideline. So yeah, guys, these are the two things which we are going to share with you guys.
Great stuff, Qudsia. I think that this is amazing, and I really hope that all of you viewers who are watching this podcast and have been with us for so long, I know that you all are going to really like everything that Qudsia has shared with you guys. The template, please go and download it from the Figma community, and check out the guidelines as well that we will be sharing with you. Again, everything that we discussed today about design critique session, you can always go through that guideline. It's more or less same of everything that we went over today. Again, I would really like to thank you, Qudsia, for being a part of our podcast. I hope that you enjoyed being here on our show, and I know for a fact that all of our viewers really appreciated you being here and talking about something that's very important for all designers.
Yeah, thank you, Maheen. Hope everybody enjoys the podcast as well, and hope you guys like our resources as well, and you would be implementing this, you downloading the critique template at Figma community. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much, Qudsia. And please, guys, if you have any comments on any videos that you would like to see in the future, if there is any topic that you want us to discuss in the future, please comment on this video and reach out to us on our Facebook page. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel. And once again, thank you so much for watching. Take care. Allah Hafiz.